Alright everyone, we just had some good old English breakfast, which is usually not my first option. I'm more of an idli vada guy. But when you're in a place which is as cosmopolitan as this, it's okay to be a little English, I guess. And a very, very interesting cafe, this one, because I didn't know if I was having food in an art gallery or I was watching art in a restaurant. In a way, symbolizes what we'll be doing for the next few days, I feel. Because it's going to be a lot of good food, good art, and hopefully a lot of good vibes also. So, welcome to Fort Kochi, people. Come to Kochi during a very exciting event, which is the Kochi Biennale or the Biennale. I don't know how to pronounce it. Potato. The pronunciation isn't important. What is important is that it happens once in 2 years, and during this time, the whole of Fort Kochi is converted into this ginormous art museum. What they do is they take all these charming, rusty, old buildings, clean them up, and they convert all of them into these small art galleries. And people from all over the world come here and they walk these streets, hopping cafes and hopping these art installations, right? And walking around in a nice place like this, stalking heritage old buildings and having good food was something that came right up our alley. So it was very obvious that we'd land up here. So that's what we are going to do, and our first stop is this place, which is Aspinwall.
Thing is entirely made of bamboo. So the entire structure is made of bamboo. You can sit in places. You can hear some kids playing the drums and all.
I think it's supposed to play on scale, but it's not.
House, which is an important port heritage building, you could say, and this used to be a seat of the British trade back in the 1800s. It's very interesting to see, like, you know, these old buildings restored and places from where pepper, probably coffee, probably spices and coir were traded, and now you have like these artists coming from different places and showcasing their art and their sculptures. I feel like there's so much to see. You don't feel like there's enough time, and no matter how much you see, you're like, I want to see more.
But I'm going to be a little honest. At least one of us here isn't that mature a connoisseur of the arts. But not a problem, because we always found installations that not just had artistic depth, but could also impress your sheer senses. Like this one at the Old Dutch Warehouse.
So Fort Kochi is like a very interesting mishmash of things. It's like so colorful. Like when you're walking through the streets, if you weren't told where exactly you are, you could be pretty much anywhere. And one of the reasons that happens is because there's been so many mixes of culture here. For example, this space that we're at, it's called the Dutch Warehouse. And the Dutch were here for a good 100 years, I think. And this used to be a warehouse for all the goods which would come in by sea and then be dropped off at the courtyard and then stored here. In Kochi Biennale, they end up using it mostly for like these visual illusion kind of things, like spatial illusions. And if you can see, we are surrounded by this trippy, vinyl striped flooring. That kind of makes you feel like the room is moving if you stare at it long enough. It doesn't translate so well on camera, but if you're here, you'll feel it.
After this, we moved on to the one activity that both Pooja and I share a very strong common interest in, where both of us could participate a little more equally.
So we've been sitting here in Mocha Art Cafe, one of those iconic cafes of Fort Kochi, and we're just like hitting all those points today. We've been downing like one lemonade and one iced tea after the other, trying to beat the Kochi heat, and we've pretty much parked here for the past few hours, and I think we're like refreshed enough to go out into the sun again. In the Mattancherry Jew town, which used to be the home of the very prosperous Kochi Jews back in the day. The history of the Jewish community in Fort Kochi is as long as time itself. They were instrumental in setting up the spice trade in this district, and they were also dominating the world trade when it came to the spices. When the Portuguese started to make life really difficult for the Jewish community, the Raja of Kochi then gave them this piece of land to build a synagogue in. And under his protection, they thrived. So you can imagine this area would have been bustling with energy and trade and a lot of Jews. But over time, the population has dwindled, and today there's just like a countable few numbers. But yeah, they were very instrumental in the development of Fort Kochi as a port city.
So this synagogue has a very peculiar name. It's called as the Pardesi synagogue. And Pardesi in the local language basically means outsider or foreigner, right? And that's mostly because it was built by Jews who came mostly from Spain and Portugal. And when they came here, they were seen by the already resident Jews of this region, who were maybe here for like hundreds of years before them, and who were also kind of well integrated with the society here as outsiders, even though they belong to the same exact same religion. The ones who came from Europe are the ones who built this church. And that's why the local Kerala Jew population ended up calling them as the Pardesis or the foreigners, and this became the Pardesi synagogue.
Inside the Jewish synagogue, you're just surrounded by these relics from a bygone age. As soon as you walk in, you're just greeted by these Belgian chandeliers hanging down from the roof, and you have like these hand-knotted oriental rugs with like intricate detailed versions of the menorah and the star. But the best feature of the synagogue itself is the floor, right? Like you walk the space and every inch is covered by these hand-painted ceramic tiles, and these were apparently gifted by the Chinese in the 18th century, and the entire space is so ornate and so decorative. It's just beautiful and so peaceful to just sit there.
Alright guys, I have a small little confession to make. Most of these exhibitions that, at least especially I go to, a lot of the art, kind of, you get what I'm saying, it goes over my head, because I don't think I'm that mature as an artist to completely understand what they're doing. So I thought I'll kind of come to the student Biennale, because maybe I'll find something that I might understand. I'm not trying to say that the students are a little less mature or anything like that. All I'm saying is that maybe if I consume art that is made by a generation that's closer to my generation, I might be able to more relate to it. And that's why we are here at the student Biennale, which are like a few of these installations that are actually made by students from different art colleges around India. And hopefully I'll be able to consume this art better than the other stuff that we saw.
Constant good for making winter soften, seasons only, nature calling, always changing, soon and often.
So I found this thing really interesting. This stall is basically where somebody can put something, some piece of art or anything that their personal belonging, and then can pick something back from it, and hopefully you make sure that the values are the same. You don't leave like $1,000 note and then you pick up like a $1 thing, or the other way around. So I, for one, thought that we need some change, because we need to catch an auto back to our Airbnb. So I thought I'll leave the Indonesian equivalent of a 20 rupee and then take an Indian 20 rupee, note back. Some people have left their ID cards also, man. It's like, screw the corporate life, right? And this 20 rupee note is torn, and it's by Agan and Aparna. If Agan and Aparna was watching this video, we're very sorry about this, but then we really needed 20 bucks. Alright everybody, last night here at Fort Kochi, and we thought we'll end it in our own special way, which usually involves a lot of food. And we thought a good way to exploit the cosmopolitanness of Fort Kochi is by going and belting some momos and some nice noodles in a Tibetan joint, because you're in Fort Kochi, man. You can get to eat anything that you want to eat, and everything is so close, all kinds of cuisines. So today we feel like some Tibetan food, and that's where we are headed right now.
Are we in the right place?
I have a feeling that this is going to be the best meal that we've had in Fort Kochi till now. Satisfied. You got to take one more plate. Good.
Yeah, we can do it.
It's so good, man. You know, when people say honest food, like an honest plate of food, I think this kind of food is what they're talking about. Like, it's kind of like, it's not trying to be anything. It's just goodness. Like, it's just so wholesome.
Zero pretentiousness, only awesomeness. Oh, night well spent.